Everybody, Sarah Skedsvold back with 9-4 Coaching. We are continuing on with Chapter 2 of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is begin with the end in mind. Like we had talked about in our previous video, this is the chapter where you are charged to define where you want to go. You're designing your life, honestly. It's a huge task, but it's incredibly doable if you break it down. In the book, Stephen does a fantastic job of giving you exercises to get there. What I will say that worked for me personally was the visualization and affirmation part of it. That's the part that I'm going to talk about today. There are pages and pages. Like I said, I had a real difficult time with Chapter 2 the first decade that I knew the book existed, to be 100% honest. The visualization and affirmations portion is, and honestly, giving myself time is what cracked the code for me, and that may be the secret sauce for you as well. So I'm going to talk about that. Ultimately, we are creating our life, and that sounds like a big, scary goal, right? We're doing that so that we don't end up where our default settings are. So with that, what I did is I gave myself a lot of space. Coming from a person who's very doing oriented, giving myself a lot of space felt very foreign. And it honestly felt like I wasn't doing anything. And it felt frustrating sometimes because I could feel what I wanted to say, but I didn't have words for it. So like, imagine a toddler. They're so mad at you because you don't know what they want. And they can't tell you, and they think they are. So give yourself some grace and give yourself some time. Stephen talks about visualizations and richness. What that looked like for me personally, a couple different writing exercises. And I say they're writing exercises, but it was a lot of this. It was a lot of I had pen and paper, but a lot of it was just like looking around. Not absent-mindedly, but I would write something and then I would have to think for a long, long time, right? And this isn't something you have to get 100% right. I wrote out my mission statement in January of 2020, and by the middle of February, I was already refining it. That's okay. It's so much, you will find, it is so much easier to modify something that you've already created. So I really encourage you to take that time. I'm going to give you a couple writing assignments, writing prompts, writing exercises that I did to allow me to get the wheels turning and come up with my mission statement and my core values and my vision statement. So the first one, and it sounds really cheesy, but I will stand by it. Do this in tandem. So I want you to write in as much detail as you can where you were 10 years ago. That's what I did. Write where you were 10 years ago in as much detail as you can. Who did you hang out with? What time did you get up in the morning? What did you eat? What did you do? Where were you working? Who were your friends? All of that. I mean, give yourself hours. Give yourself like half a day to do this. Because you're going to write and then you're going to like think that that's good, and then you're going to go do something else, revisit it, and then add a little bit more detail, right? Give yourself a chance to have 1 or 2 drafts in that half a day. Then I want you to write where you see yourself 10 years from now, in as much detail as you possibly can. What does your day look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? Are you working? Where do you live? Everything. Write that down. And write down a realistic day. Not necessarily a special day, not necessarily a weekend or a weekday. Write down the most realistic day that you see yourself having. If that is too much, I'm going to link to a podcast that will take you through about an hour-long exercise, and that will actually take you through your ideal day. The idea behind 10-year look back, 10-year look forward is when you look back, you can see how much different your life changed in 10 years, and that will give you the courage to dream unreasonably for your forward 10 years. If that's just something that like you can't quite get there, then I'm going to link to a podcast that is a ideal day exercise put on by Jesse Elder. It is a phenomenal exercise. You'll have a pen and paper. You will listen to it. The things that you come up with, speaking from personal experience, will be profound and unexpected. And then you're also going to be able to refine that. So that visualization, breaking that down into using the book, breaking down what you saw as your 10-year ideal or your ideal day, that is going to tell you what's important to you. And you have to allow yourself to be honest and vulnerable. Be unreasonable. If speaking from just personal experience, if 10 years ago you were to tell me at 29 years old where I was going to be, I wouldn't believe you. If you were to tell me 5 years ago what I would be doing, I wouldn't believe you either. The amount of change that you're able to create once you have a clear goal is unbelievable. So don't limit yourself. This will wrap up the chapter 2 of Begin with the End in Mind. It's a lot of internal work. And so the introduction and chapter 1 was just really laying the foundations. You're already going to have affirmative language. You're already going to have working inside of your circle of influence. You're already going to have those foundational pieces, so hang on to them. And in this one, it's a lot of writing. It's a lot of getting to know yourself. It's a lot of journaling. It's a lot of just introspection, and give yourself time to do that. Don't skip over it. At least give yourself a fair shot at writing your personal mission statement, your personal vision statement, and your core values. Do that before you go on to chapter 3. I know it's very tempting to say it's too hard and skip ahead to chapter 3, but give yourself some time. You will be shocked how closely you're going to get to what you design. And oftentimes you're going to exceed that so be unreasonable. Like I said, that will wrap up chapter 2. We will be on to chapter 3 next video. Thanks.